Gentleman yields back. Mr. Owens, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to yield my time to my colleague, Mr. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. Just a few questions from my friends on the other side of the aisle. What is the constitutional justification for the federal government, or actually by extension hardworking taxpayers, to fund college or graduate level education for Americans? What is the basis for suggesting that the federal government, or actually the taxpayer, federal government doesn't have any money, it only forces the confiscation of resources from hardworking taxpayers, or borrows beyond what it confiscates from the taxpayers? So what's the justification for doing that, to provide education for citizens? Do taxpayers also have a responsibility to fund PhDs or terminal degrees? What is the limit? Why, again, would we force non-borrowing taxpayers to pay other people's student loans? With our national debt being what it is, the big issue of the day, the debt ceiling situation, why would we borrow, not spend, we don't even have the money, why would we borrow more money since we're running deficits currently of about $100 billion a month? The federal government is literally already spending about $100 billion a month more than it takes in. Why would we borrow more to cover the cost of transferring student loan debt to those who didn't borrow it? But furthermore, why would we keep on making student loans if we're not going to require the borrowers to repay them? Is there any limit to what the government should do, or better said, force hardworking taxpayers to do, to provide for the citizens, or actually to saddle them with more debt? The Biden student loan transfer scheme would simply transfer the debt owed by college-educated, higher-earning borrowers and pile it onto the $32 trillion national debt owed by all Americans at an average of nearly $100,000 per citizen. So we're saying those who've borrowed for their education, those who now have the propensity to earn a higher income, ought to be able to transfer that debt to the average citizen who owes about $100,000 in national debt. So I am thankful to this committee that we are finally taking action to try to rectify this unjust and injurious action by this administration. And I yield back to Mr. Owens.
Thank you. Now you're back.